All right, here we are, episode 81 of The Sedated Man. What is this one? This one is about how to quit crushing your kids. Now, what do I mean by that? Look, there is like a plague going on. But before I talk about what the plague is, I'm not talking about COVID, okay? I'm not talking about the flu or anything like that. I'm talking about amongst young people. And it concerns me. It concerns me a lot, and it has for a while. And I want to talk about it today. So in Proverbs, go to Proverbs here. Look, in Proverbs 22 in verse 6, and a lot of you guys know this, or at least at the head of your houses, you should know this, okay? Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So we see that as like this ironclad guarantee that if we train up our child, when he's old, he won't depart, just will not. All right, for one, I want you to remember that when he's old here, we don't know what age that is. We don't know what age he's referring to. Okay, we just know that if we train up a child in the way he should go, when he's old, he won't depart from it. Now, you know, there's a lot of culture differences between when this was written and today. And am I saying there's any excuse for that? No. And am I saying that you failed as a parent if your kid falls away? No. Your portion of this verse is to train up a child in the way he should go. All right? It doesn't say train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he's old, you'll beat him so he doesn't depart from it. Okay? At some point, it's got to be his choice. And when it starts being his choice, then it's not yours anymore. So, you know, it says, and I've said it a few times already, it says train up. It doesn't say beat up. It doesn't say constant question. It doesn't say beat down. It doesn't make feel stupid. It doesn't mean, training is not where you browbeat your kid into submission. Let's talk about this plague. There's a plague of kids who don't only know not what hard work is, even for their own dreams, they don't know what hard work looks like. But they also don't know what they want to do. And there's a secondary plague that comes in right behind it. And this other plague is parents who keep pushing their kids towards college to the point of shaming them into it. I'm 50 years old. And if your kid comes within 5 feet of me and says to me, Mike, I don't think I want to go to college. Well, what do you want to do is going to be my first question. Well, and this happens more often than you might think. I really feel called to do mission work. I said, then do mission work. Because the Lord calls us all differently, doesn't he? Some he's going to call the doctor. Some he's going to call the lawyer. At least I hope so, because imagine what the world would look like if more Christians held those kinds of jobs, okay? Side note, that was a freebie. So I'm going to tell your kid that if they feel drawn to do mission work, to put aside college until they can figure out what it is they want to do. Now, I know a lot of you guys, that makes you uncomfortable. College is an education, and I will not sit here and knock college as an education. But it is not the only form of education, but it has been sold to you like a bag of Doritos, and everybody thinks they need a bag. And because you did or did not go to college, you think your kids have to. Your kids do not have to go to college. Do you have any idea how many 6-figure jobs are out there that do not require a college degree? Now, I'm a plumber. I don't make 6 figures. But if I were to move to a bigger metropolitan area, I absolutely could make 6 figures. And not only do I not have college, I have a GED and I was a high school dropout. I didn't need college for that. In fact, I can provide better for my wife right now since we're empty nesters. I provided better for my family and my wife than some of my college graduate buddies with degrees did, or still do. And I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying it's not the only education. Quit shoving college down your kids' throats. Well, Mike, it worked for me. That's awesome. When's the last time you actually talked to your kid about what they want to do? And rather than poo-pooing the idea, actually sat down with a pen and paper and maybe penned out with them why it's possible or not possible. Get them to put those ideas on paper. God has got those things locked in there on purpose. And why have you not taught your kids how to work? They've got these dreams and these things they want to push toward. And you and I both know, we both know there's going to be blood, sweat, and tears involved in that. But did we negate in teaching them what that looked like? Teaching them that dreams take drive, they take passion, they take work. They take putting some things off so that you can get some things done. They take cutting the coffees out so that you can still afford to pay your rent, but you're chasing that dream. Look, don't tell me that there's plenty of mission workers in the world. There's not. And there certainly isn't enough younger people with drive in the church. And when some younger person comes to me, which, like I said, happens more often than you might think, I will be the first to push them toward that work, because the Lord needs younger people, as well as guys your age, by the way, to go out and get the word out. He needs people with passion. That's your kid. The one that you keep saying, no, you really need to go to college. Let me tell you something. I see the same parents who went to college, got a degree, have a great job, but hate their job, still push their kids towards college. Why? They don't have another answer. They're like, well, the money's good. Okay, if the money's good and you hate your job, you are not successful. Take success right off of your vocabulary. And don't qualify yourself to give your kid any advice, because you haven't attained it either. You haven't. Training. So the question is, what are you doing? Why are we continuously crushing our kids with our expectations? That kid hits 18. They're legally not your responsibility anymore. I'm not saying kick them to the curb. But they don't have to listen to anything you say. But yet we insist on pushing them the direction we think they need to go. That is not training anymore. Once your kids are done and they've got to start making their own hard choices, you are coach. You need to take a step back and say, okay, you've got this. If you have questions, I'm here. If you need guidance, I'm here. If you need to understand God's word because you don't quite get it, I'm here. But I'm going to step back and I'm going to let you handle it. Well, Mike, they can't handle it. Whose fault was that? Whose responsibility was training? If you look at your kid who is a fully functioning adult and they can't handle their own checkbook, their own laundry, their own meals, their own schedule, their own vehicle, getting their oil changed, knowing how to change a tire, that's on you. You did too much for them. And now you're going to have to reap what you've sown. And they are also going to have to reap what you sown. So, why am I hammering this home? Because it's bullcrap. It's absolute bullcrap. God needs passionate workers, for the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And these kids, and I say kids because I'm 50, all right? An 18-year-old is a kid to me, but still an adult. And have I ever advised a kid not to listen to his parents at the age of 18? At the age of 18, yeah, I have. But I've also encouraged those same parents to sit down and talk with their kids. You know, I know a lot of people don't like Gary Vee because he's got a lot of language, and I agree, he does have a lot of language, but he has some very good points. Dreams take work, and work takes independence. And the only way that your child can be a good, solid Christian is to learn how to be independent. The only way that they can be part of a team is to be successful in their own independence, to be comfortable in their own independence. So why then do we insist on saddling our kids with our dreams or your dreams and shelving their own? You want your kid to go to college and they're on the fence about it and you're pushing, that's your dream for them, not theirs. Let me tell you how many kids I've seen going to college because mom and dad wanted them to, or because all the friends wanted them to, or because, and they have no idea what they want to do. And I hear the same thing every time. Well, Mike, in 2 years, I'm going to take general studies, and in 2 years, I should know what I want to do. 2 years later, they're working at McDonald's or they're waiting tables. with a ton of student loan debt, still don't know what they want to do. Still don't know. Accountability as a child goes a long way in in teaching the ability to make solid decisions. It's okay, Dad. It's okay. It's okay. You made a mistake. Own it. And if you feel that you did that you hovered, that you pushed too hard, that you did too much for them and now they can't do for themselves, apologize and offer your help to help them get where they need to be. But don't do it for them. Point. This is probably what you should do. And then you grit your teeth until they ask you a question. You shut your mouth until they ask, and then answer. And always answer what's best for the kid, not what's best for you. Take you out of it. Imagine what the church would look like if Christ had thought about himself before you. If his advice had been more for himself than you. If his sacrifice had been for himself and not you, there would be no sacrifice. In Psalm 119, verse 105, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Okay, lamp and a light. What does that mean? That suggests that God guides us. He doesn't do it for us, he guides us. Everybody knows the scripture, all right? Everybody loves it. And he gives us light to the path. He doesn't dictate our path. He doesn't coerce. He doesn't shame. He simply gives light in the right direction. A lot of you dads, the way you talk to your kids, I don't understand how you can't see what you're doing. Here's a tool you can use, and it's one that I use with my sons. Okay? Have I done everything right with my sons? No, I'm not sitting here saying I'm the perfect parent, so don't get me wrong. I do a one and done. If I have a serious concern about something my boys are doing, because they're all adults now and they're mostly married, okay? If I have a serious concern, I will say, hey, can we talk about this? Or sometimes they'll say, hey, can we talk about this? Because they know we have a disagreement. And what I do is a one and done. And I tell them, all right, we're going to talk about this one time, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about this or how your mom and I feel about this. And then unless you bring it up, we are not going to talk about it again. And that way it enables us to get out on the table exactly what we feel needs to be said in exactly the manner and tone I feel it needs to be said. And then the relationship moves on because we don't bring it up again unless they have a question. So I'm agreeing. I'm going to throw it out there and you're going to know exactly where I stand and why scripturally. And then unless you have a question, I'm not going to bring it up again and we can move forward as family. Okay? Because what that does is it eliminates the bias. It eliminates the carrying it with you. It eliminates the hurt feelings and all that. You're able to reasonably talk about it, get it right out there, move forward. All right? One and done. So this one and done will more than likely help you to put those things out there to your kids that you've probably been throwing out there that aren't your place to throw out there anymore. Your kids are adults, all right? It's like moms who meddle in their kids' marriage. That's none of your business. Their marriage, I can tell you as the father of adult married kids, I've looked at my sons plenty of times and gone, I don't understand what they're doing. Why is he treating her that way? Why is she doing that? And lots of times I'd like to say something, but it's not my place. Doesn't matter. It is not my household. I might be the patriarch of the Baker family, but I do not rule each house individually. I am there for wisdom and guidance. All right? So remember, we are raising, now I'm talking to you fathers and sons, we are raising men. We are raising men. Dreams and aspirations are a major part of masculinity, manhood, and work ethic. You crush those, you push your kid into a box that you think he needs to go to so he can get a good job somewhere because jobs are so secure. I don't know if you've noticed, but not even government jobs are secure. Let me tell you something. Side note, here's another freebie for you. Who is the last person in a layoff to lose their job? Think about it for a minute. I'll wait. Yeah. The owner. Owner's the last guy to lose his butt. Okay? So who do you think has the most job security in any one business? It's the owner. Employees come and go. Owners typically stay unless they sell out or do something wrong. Okay? But they're always the last ones. So don't push your kids into this job mentality. Remember, the public school system was designed to train manufacturer laborers, warehouse workers. They set it up so that kids understood shift work. All right, and you can read that. Some of that history is in a book called "Dumbing Us Down" by I want to say it's John Taylor Gatto, but he's written a couple books on it. But that's not the only place you can get that info. All right, so I'm telling you, we're raising men, and those pieces, those dreams and aspirations are vital. Did you hear that? Vital parts of manhood, masculinity, and being a well-rounded human being. How about that? But work ethic. In Ephesians chapter 6, in verse 4, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Quit passively, aggressively, or even aggressively provoking your children to anger. You may not see the anger, but it's there. Every time you push that kid on something that they're just not on board with, you're provoking your kid to anger. You are creating something inside. You're creating this whirlwind of doubt that turns into anger, that turns into frustration, that turns into doing nothing. Turns into dropping out after 2 years of general studies. Turns into feeling like a failure. Turns into feeling like they disappointed their parents. That is not setting your kids up for success. I mean, if you stop and think about it, by continuing to push your kids, you're negating the last half of the verse, which says, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Instruction is what? Training. Training. Push them and test them, push them and test them, push them and test them, and then let them go. Look, my intent here is to help you realize that your teen or your 20-something may just be trying to appease you. Or maybe you're trying to do too much for them. But there's a cog missing that's very easily put back in. Quit doing stuff for your kids and quit pushing them in directions that you want to go. Quit trying to live through your kids. Now, I know that I get some kids that watch this too. So if you're a teen or a 20-something, I want you to listen up, all right? If you have a dream, if you have something you really want to follow, something you feel drawn to, that could very well be the Lord talking to you, pulling you in a direction. Because everybody comes to this planet for a reason. You're not here by accident. And you feel you can't talk to your folks, I'm going to tell you this. You can contact me, sure. But I want you to try to talk to your dad or to talk to your mom. I want you to talk to your folks. I want you to go in, say, hey, I really want to talk to you, mom or dad. Go in with a pad and paper. Or go in, sorry, pad is paper. Go in with pen and paper, okay? I want you to go in. I want you to understand you're going to be afraid. You're going to be nervous. It's okay. But sit down and ask them to help you build a plan for your dream. Because if you're going to include them in that thought process and ask them for their wisdom and take it, they may just open up to the ideas you have. If you've only halfway ever made the suggestion, you didn't get their attention. So what should I do, Mike, if they're really pushing me to college? Look, if you don't want to go to college, don't go. Do you have 2 or 3 jobs to pay off all that student loan debt when you can't decide what you want to do? Am I saying don't go to college? I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm saying don't step in that building until you know you want to be there and you know why you want to be there. Until you know that your dream lies in those buildings and those libraries, don't step in. Because college isn't the only education. My 4th oldest son is now a licensed plumber. He's 22 years old. about to be 23. He bought his first house at 19 with no cosigner. Sold and bought another house here about a year ago. Okay. And the look on the people's faces when he walked in at 19 and to sign the paperwork with the down payment and with not needing any cosigner because he had followed direction. We had trained him on credit. They were floored. His dream was to buy a house. And when he said that, we did whatever we could do to help him attain that dream. But my point here is he decided to go into plumbing like his dad. It wasn't because I pushed him. In fact, I never made the suggestion to go in plumbing. He did it on his own. What's my point? I gave him the room to make that decision. He got nothing but grief from friends and adults for months because he didn't go to college. And those same guys who went to college now generally make less money than he does. And he made money the entire time in his training and in his book work and everything. He was working and making money as he went. And now he's on his second house. He doesn't own two houses. He's owned. Okay, he's in it. He sold the one, bought the next. He and his wife are doing well. Now he's starting his own online business. These are all things that came because he was able to talk to us. So dads, quit crushing your kids. Quit pushing them in a corner. And quit wondering why they won't work because you're not helping. Recognize and step up to those things that are your fault and begin to encourage them to follow those dreams and show them what work looks like. And guys, if you're the one with the dream, and there are some guys my age who have a dream, so you listen up too. If you've got the dream, get your butt up, do something about it. The Lord did not make us to simply work 9 to 5, raise a family. Let me tell you something. Any animal race, okay, gorilla, hyena, tiger, live, raise families, and eat. Is that all you're here for? No. We're the pinnacle of creation. Let's start acting like it.